Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing good. So happy Diwali to those who are celebrating out there. Now, the X30 versus Skyline is one of the most requested topic that I've been getting, and I do apologize for this slightly delayed video. Been busy with work, but also I wanted to give some time for the Skyline to have its bugs ironed out. And that's not to say all the bugs have been ironed out. There are some bugs still there, but most of the critical bugs are finally sorted out. Now, this video is probably for those who are on the fence whether or not to upgrade to the Skyline from the X30 and how good is the Skyline compared to the X30. And if you're interested on individual take on both these devices, I've done quite an extensive cover on both these devices in the past. You can scroll in my channel for the necessary video for you. So in terms of design, you can see for yourself that the Skyline is definitely a major upgrade and something that actually is unique to Nokia in terms of its choice of vibrant color use, as well as the design language here, which is the Fabula design. And we can talk about it the whole day, but the Skyline's design, the Fabula design language, is definitely the most well optimized and brilliantly thought of design for a mobile device, so no questions there. Now, in terms of the dimension, the Skyline is definitely much bigger in all aspects compared to the X30, which makes the X30 much more easier in the hand. Though both might appear matte on the rear, and till now I've not figured out whether this is actually frosted glass back or it's a plastic. Can't really tell, but it does holds well when you remove the back panel to access. It don't really break or crack, so I'm not really quite sure what is this panel, but it's definitely might look matte, but it's one slippery device which will definitely fall off your pocket. If you don't have a case, you're going to have dents on your Skyline, quite similar to the Nokia 9 PureView. So thankfully HMD has also brought in their own case. So this is one case. We also have the rugged case, which I reviewed earlier. Now, the good thing about the case is that it does not affect the wireless charging capability of the device. At the same time, it is vibrant and it does its job. It definitely protects your device from a simple fall from your pocket, for example. And if you want a much more durable protection, you just go for the rugged case. Now, speaking of the wireless charging capability of the device, this supports the Qi2 wireless charging protocol, which is quite similar to the Apple's charging protocol. And what that means is that we do have a solid magnetic connection to secure the charges, so you get to charge more efficiently on the Skyline. And do take note that the wireless charging speed on the Skyline, that means that you get to use your device and also charge it at the same time. Now, in the past, what happens is that with the previous generations of Qi wireless charger, and if you were to use your device and wirelessly charge, and at most what you get is just a static battery life, but with the Skyline you do get a positive outcome at the end of the charging session through the wireless charger. So really change how I interact with the device, and it's quite easy and secure, and the magnetic connection is strong. So there's something that you want to take note of. So in the past, I've brushed off that I don't really need the wireless charger, and that's only because the speed that I get from the wireless charger is not enough to keep me from using the device. But with the Qi2, things change. I can use the device, wirelessly charge them, and still have a positive balance on my battery. So that's something to be taken note of. Now, if you look at the back, you will also see the departure of the Nokia branding on HMD. The agreement is until 2026, but HMD is already diverging their portfolios. Smartphones uses HMD branding. Feature phones at this point of time retains the Nokia branding. So with that said, one critical aspect of this Skyline that probably we are taking for granted at this point of time, and we're not really paying much attention to, is the easy repairability aspect of the device. Most of the critical components can be changed by yourself through a simple access through this screw. Unscrew this counterclockwise, you remove the back panel, you get access to change your display, your battery, charging ports. And the good thing is that we get to do this with ease. This is having a level 2 of easiness compared to the previous level 1 of easiness in terms of self-repairability, and the parts are affordable, original, and this is something you'll appreciate down the line when all the other competitors have issues with the display. You get to replace your display anytime you want at affordable price, and this is something that HMD has brilliantly thought of. So certain components of the device might feel like slightly underwhelming compared to the X30. For example, the display. And if you see, the in-display fingerprint scanner gives you a very predictable premium experience on the X30, but it's sort of returned back the power button on the Skyline, and that's only because to have the in-display fingerprint scanner in the Skyline would mean that the Skyline's display price would be very expensive. That's something that will deter people from purchasing it to replace it. So in order to keep the price at a lower price point, they have actually sort of made the choice to use a display that doesn't have the in-display fingerprint scanner and just keep it at the side. Easier to replace the components, and the price is kept lower. Now, in terms of the X30's audio, I think this is something that all of us know. The audio is just decent. It's a mono speaker on the X30. On the Skyline is a dual speaker stereo setup with tuning from Ozo Audio, which does have added advantage on the Skyline. So we do have brilliantly loud and crisp out from the Skyline compared to the X30. Now, the display is when it comes to the display quality, both have OLED display, and the display on Skyline has a faster refresh rate at 144 Hz refresh rate compared to the 90 Hz on the Skyline. Both perform well under intense bright light condition, but the Skyline has a 1000 nits brightness compared to about 600 to 700 on the Nokia X30. Now, I do need to emphasize that with the September update, somehow there's a bug that actually affects how the sensor detects the sunlight and adjusts the display. So we do get a less predictable brightness outcome from the Skyline at this point of time. But this is a bug that was introduced with this September update, something that HMD has to take note of and fix. But as you can see, both are brilliantly well. Now, do take note that the video playback output from YouTube for the X30 is limited to 1080p 60 frames per second. And on the Skyline, you do get to experience 4K 60 frames per second. Neither of the device is able to have the HDR playback from YouTube natively. So this is something that to take note of. And I don't think so that is something that HMD would be able to activate or fix, because this is probably something to do with licensing, I assume. Good battery life is definitely good. You do get a day of moderate use of both these devices. But at this point of time, I feel that the power management on the Skyline is something that needs to be improved, and the standby battery drain is actually quite respectable, about 0.5% every hour. But once you do use certain apps, you can experience that the battery drops very fast, faster than what you would have expected, and the device gets hot, and it does cool down as fast as it gets hot. So this is something to do with thermal throttling, something that HMD is yet to fix since the beginning of the device. Now, this also translates to how the camera stability is, and I do notice once you launch your camera and the device gets hot very fast even before you snap the photo, and I've seen that once it gets hot and the device starts to throttle the performance, and you'll see stuttering effect with the camera itself. I think on a more personal preference would be the night mode. If you were to see the samples that I'll share later, you will see that the HMD tries to retain a much more natural night feel to the photo compared to the X30, which gives a much more vibrant output. And in the past, I prefer the more vibrant output of the X30, but I come to accept that night should look at least as night could be, and the Skyline does it well, but it does add a lot of dark contrast, which I feel is not necessary, and that's something that I hope that HMD could fix. And while the night shots appear sharper, the day shots tend to be on the softer side, and that could be personal preference. Those who expect for a sharper shot would definitely feel that the X30 seems to be much sharper, and this is something you perceive once you zoom in. With the 108 megapixels at your disposal, you should be able to get a much sharper shot generally from the Skyline. So this is something on a personal preference note. A slightly sharper day images, slightly lesser contrast output for the night mode. Fix the ultra steady option, and the Skyline was definitely something that will amaze you. So with that said, enjoy the simple photo and video comparison, and I do hope to cover on the Fusion device soon. So till then, take care.